So, hello everyone, welcome to another insightful episode of Expert Edge series where I bring you insights from the most inspiring and accomplished professionals regarding personal and professional transformation. Today, I have immense honor of hosting Joshua, who is basically from Nigeria, and he helps people getting that feeling of fulfillment. So, whether you are a CEO, business leader, teacher, recent graduate, whatever is there, when you know your why, you stand and gain clarity. You get to a space to restore your sense of fulfillment. That's what Joshua does. So welcome, Joshua, to my show. And before
Thank
I
you.
proceed, thank you, it's my pleasure. Before I proceed, I would like to give a brief introduction about yourself to the viewers.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Joshua. So I have already done a very wonderful introduction for me. So basically, I'm passionate about people finding a meaning in purposeful work. And I see that that is something that people are really challenged about today because a lot of people are going about living their lives without really knowing what exactly they are doing. There's that feeling of, is this it? After getting to that achievement, you get that job, you increase your pay, you get that promotion, but there's just that vacuum. There's something that is missing. So I see a lot of times that people don't really know how to ask for a way to find an expression of themselves through these problems. And it was something that has been consistent over time. So the desire and the drive that I saw in people and consistent questions led me to go deeper into understanding purpose and how purpose works. And it gave me an insight as to how purpose is progressive and that you can know a certain part of yourself at this stage in your life. And as you keep becoming you begin to see more versions of yourself. So my duty is to help you see the light you already carry. That's the summary.
That's a beautiful about you section wherein you help people find their light and give that sparkle to the world. So that's really amazing, Joshua. One thing that I would like you to share with the viewers is people think that they are fulfilled in their own because they have a handsome salary, they have this amazing relationship maybe with their family members, but one thing that they are missing is there is no aspiration, there is no desire to go a level up. So how do you suggest people think on those lines as how you can take whatever you are doing, that feeling of fulfillment to level 2?
All right, thank you. That's an amazing question. So I think I'll use this medium to ask the viewers also, what do you think is your real why? What's that thing that gets you up every morning? What drives you? What makes you want to do more? Because the thing about your why is that your why gives you a drive to go beyond the ordinary. So every achievement is a call for a bigger achievement. So the moment you have that pay, you have that promotion, if your why is not really tied to that, that's just a means to getting there. It's not actually the destination. So the true success of fulfillment is in the becoming. It's not just in the destination, it's the journey. So if you're getting maybe 100K this year and maybe next year you're getting up to 200K, you might get that money, but it will not still give you that drive. So one powerful question I ask myself a lot and I ask people is, what is that one thing that, anytime you find out about it, it gives you this kind of passionate anger, something you feel like is a desire to be solved. So money might not actually quench that. That's something that you need to go beyond the surface level to find out. So when you find out that thing, for some people, they are called to just helping people out, orphanages, providing free education, while there's some people that they're just passionate about guiding people that were once in a situation where they were several years before them. So if that's something that drives you every morning, you use the money or you use the achievement as a means to keep doing that, not as the destination. So this is something that I feel it's going to be a very powerful question. If you put that into perspective, it will help you want to do more than where you are now.
Yeah, that's beautifully explained, Joshua. Thank you so much for that clarity. Now, I basically deal with mindset of the people, wherein people are so comfortable in their monotonous routine that morning they have to get up. Either they are going for a walk, but 80% corporate professionals don't even go for a physical exercise also, right? So this is a bigger
Yeah.
challenge. Apart from that, once they get up, get ready for their work, and once they get home, there are a lot of disturbances that they carry in their head, and that is impacting the family as well. The intimate relationship with
Yeah,
the father, mother, the spouse, and everything, and their children as well. So is
yeah.
there any trick or any exercise that people can do start of their day so that they can set a clear expectation as how they should enjoy their day or spend their day?
Oh, wow, that's an amazing question. So there's something I call setting micro wins. So micro wins are like mini tasks you give yourself that are
Mhm.
easily achievable, and they are things that you give based on rewards. So if you have a day that you are working for 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, you know that it's going to be chalked. So there's a way you just carve out a to-do list. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. It doesn't have to be something so grand. So the aim of micro wins is for you to get going, not just for you to always get it right. So the focus is on doing and not just getting it right. So if you get to work, you know that you have to prioritize your day, you prioritize your task in order of relevance, you put the things that need to be done at the very top. Now, what you do about your micro wins is that you set targets that, okay, for every 20 minutes you achieve a certain quota, then you tick it. So you give yourself a boost that, okay, for 20 minutes, I gave myself into purposeful work and I was fully into it. And this was what I was able to achieve. So the thing about that is when you tie it to a word, it gives your brain a push for you to keep doing more and it drives you on your daily activity. So that's something that I believe will really help.
Oh, that's great, Joshua. So I got reminded of a beautiful analogy that we follow that is called Eisenhower matrix. So Eisenhower
Mm,
matrix exactly tells the same thing. It is
mm,
25 minutes of concentrated work and then couple of minutes of break. And during that 25 minutes, you set aside all distractions and just do that whatever task you are doing dedicatedly. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, I would like
mm.
to ask you, if people think that they are fulfilled, they are just thinking, but they are just caught up with the monotonousy. So what
Mm.
should be the triggers for them to understand that they need some sort of assistance, maybe a friend who can be a knowledgeable person and who is able to give you that suggestions, advice, or that guidance? What is that situation or scenario that should act as triggers?
Oh, okay. So that's an amazing question. So I'll start by saying that it's very important to have people that are ahead of you that you look up to. They could be virtual mentors and they could be direct physical mentors. So the thing about them is that when you see a progression in their own life and you see a similarity with your own purpose and calling, their activity can give you hints to be able to ask yourself why questions like, okay, based on what I'm seeing this person doing, have I really attained so and so level of growth in this area? So this can actually cut into two sides of reference, the vertical and the horizontal. So the vertical is you to the mentors. That's like up, down. Then the horizontal is you to your peers. So people that are like your community, people that are like your accountability partners, those are people that they don't just like you for what you can offer, but they like you for you. These are people that have been with you even before you probably blew up, before you became so popular, people that actually understand your uniqueness. The thing about that is that you actually give yourself a permission to be subject to accountability such that each time, just as a routine period, they get to ask you, okay, so based on what you've been doing so far, have you been able to get to this? What are explanations that you can really give out to help you get clarity? Because the thing is, when you have that equilibrium of vertical and horizontal, the horizontal gives you a chance to be yourself without having to feel the pressure of being so perfect, without having to feel the pressure of, having that urge of yeah, referencing yourself to somebody higher than you, and you have to sound a certain way. So when you're with your peers, you can actually voice out your fears, you can voice out things that you feel you can do better. And sometimes I also say this, apart from having an accountability partner, also step out more, change environments, because sometimes environment gives a reflection of what you are doing and what you can become. So when you change environments, you can get that knowledge that, okay, I think based on what I'm seeing now, I think I need to do better. Because the thing about your why is that your why never really sleeps. Every opportunity you get, it comes like a trigger to awaken you. So the major things I'll say is get an accountability partner, vertical, horizontal, and change your environment.
Oh, that's beautifully explained, Joshua. Now, that's a nice explanation. Now, the next thing that I would like to ask is, I have a friend who is of similar age than me. Now,
Yes.
we started at the same time. I am somewhere doing some good or bad in someone's eyes, or there is a person who is like topping the charts in the social media. So there is a point wherein we come into comparison chart. So this comparison chart, what I believe is, people should not go with comparing themselves with the best page of that person, right? Maybe you are starting at page
Yeah.
number one. You cannot compare your page one with page 20 of someone else's, and
Yeah.
having said that, there is another thing as well. People do not share all the struggles and challenges that they face. They are just showing that the blue picture that is rosy, so
Yeah.
how to help people get out of that comparison trap and do their best without looking for the outcome? Because if you are working hard, definitely the results will show up. Maybe not today, everyone's timing is different. So you may take time, but how to avoid that comparison trap?
So that's an amazing question. And there's something I charge myself with, and I feel it's going to really help you. Like, nothing seems small until it is compared. So if you don't have a desire to compare something, then you can't really know and estimate whether you are doing less or more only by looking at yourself. But when you begin to see your day one and you compare it to somebody's day 70, like you said, that's something that is going to put you under pressure. And the thing about that is it takes you off the focus on yourself and your growth, and you focus more on your energy on feeling bad or bitter concerning that person's progress. And there's something that makes the pain even affect you more because the person is on a similar age range or demographic with you. There's sometimes when it's somebody, okay, is well advanced in age, you can compensate yourself that that person had age, had an experience advantage, and that was why the person was able to catch up more. So you don't really have so much pressure on that level. But when you see somebody doing something on a similar scale as you, and you started even before the person, or you were the one that even brought the person into the space, and you begin to get a big jit about the person's success, ask yourself, is this something that is really reflecting who I am as a person, or this is a call for me to go deeper and search into my why? Because one thing I realize is when you see somebody doing something very well and you feel a certain way about it, it's a reminder to you that this is something you could also be doing in your own field. So if you find yourself in that trap, first relax. And it's something that you have to make sure you always check on every day because it's somehow subtle. Yeah, sometimes you may not know you're slightly being envious, but you just feel that bitterness. It needs to creeping in. Okay, why her? Why him? Why not me? I mean, I have this, I know this, why, and that's something that everybody has to face because the reality is we all have different paths, right? We have different realities, we have different destinations. My own destination may make me to go faster at some point and slower later. Yours may be slower at the beginning and faster later. So the best thing you do is to embrace your journey from the start, and you now determine that this is something that I'm going to try to do my own way. Another thing that I think is going to help is a lot of times you might actually be confusing that feeling. Let me explain. Sometimes you're actually happy that the person is doing very well. But because of the way the person is doing very well, and you now see that you're not doing as much, that joy now turns to some form of envy. You
Yes.
understand? And when you're envious of that person, there's a way you begin to detach yourself. You're not really giving yourself fully to them. When you're genuinely trying to help the person, you now begin to do it as a transactional relationship. Okay, I think I'll help this person because I feel it can help me get faster and better in this area of my life, in this area of my purpose and something like that. So the first thing, and I think is an established truth, is nothing seems small until it's compared. So always remember that you and I have different journeys and we have to embrace it as we go by.
Oh, that's beautifully explained. Now, the next question that I have right now is that when you start on a journey to finding your true self, to finding what exactly drives you, what interests you, at that point in time, when you are on a journey, you're going on for 8 days, 10 days, and automatically all of a sudden there comes a point when you slow down. So there comes the role of accountability partner, or here in India we call it mastermind group, who keeps you continuously on that path, pushes you. So what do you think, if people are in a corporate job, right? So the only people with whom they interact with are their colleagues, superior or subordinates. These are the only things, and apart from them, their family. So if we talk about the work culture they are in, is it necessary to have friends from other fields of their life or something, so that they don't keep themselves trapped in this spirals?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. And yes, I feel that that's something that's really helpful. I even suggest that because a different eye helps you see the things that you are not seeing. You know, sometimes when you are stuck in a particular structure, you become accustomed to the system and you begin to see, you don't see some things that exist again. Some biases, you just begin to absorb it as normal culture. Some toxic traits, you just begin to see it as normal. But when you have eyes from outside, they help you see from within. So I think that is something that you should also pay attention to. And another thing is try to cross multiply or cross reference yourself. What I mean is don't give yourself to friends that are just in a particular field. So if you have an engineering background like me, you don't necessarily have to concentrate all your friends in the engineering background. You can give yourself to people in the arts field, people in the social sciences, people in the financial sector. It makes you more complete. It gives you a holistic view of
Versatile
who
as
you
well.
are. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes. So when you have people that are from different fields, they enrich you and you also enrich them. So another thing is it may be rare for a lot of people, but sometimes you can actually be blessed with a line manager that can be your mentor, because you know sometimes your line manager has a very key role to play in your professional career. They can either make or mar it. So if you have a very good line manager, there are certain line managers that their duty is to help you even supersede them. But there are certain other line managers that are actually scared of your own growth, especially when they see your potential. So I won't say that that is a fixed law that you should build on. But if you happen to see a line manager of a proven track record that genuinely cares about you, it's something that I feel that can help you and give you a leapfrog in your career path.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Now, the next thing that I would like you to emphasize more on, when we talk about learning, growth and contribution are these two things which can make you fulfill. So, if you talk about growth, you don't grow individual as a person, you grow with a group of people, you grow with the society. And when you are at a certain position, there is a responsibility, there is an ethical responsibility to give it to the community, so that there comes growth and community, the contribution. And these are the things that I've learned from Tony Robbins, and I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. So what do you think, if we talk about the monotonicity that people are facing in today's life, how can they inculcate this habit of growth and learning contribution? How can they inculcate this habit?
All right, that's a very, very special question because you know the thing about growth is that growth is person specific. So growth to me might not be growth to you. But there are certain established truths about growth. And the thing about growth is as you grow, you begin to spread yourself into people. So the truth about growth is not just you. You carry a community along in your growth. So growth rubs off from you to the people around you. Now, there's also one thing about growth and how some people, if you don't have a particular mindset that has been cultured properly, you might want to hoard, you might want to keep to yourself. But the thing about growth is that growth reveals an expression that you should even give out more. And there's a principle that I believe that works accurately, and it's called the more you give, the more you give.
Yes.
So how it works is when you grow to a certain level, maybe level from level 1 to level 2, you have like 3 years of experience, you have maybe hands-on skills, you have been exposed to certain, maybe an international audience, your CV becomes richer, you have things that give you a stronger field, stronger hand in what you do. That gives you a clearer insight than some people. Now, what happens is when you take out that experience and you give it back to the people that are coming there, they will keep feeding from you. And one thing is because they are feeding from you, you want to keep giving them. So you will also try to grow more. to give them. So that's how it works. It's like a cycle. The more you give, the more you give. So I think it's something you said about mindset. Mindset is very important because if you don't see yourself as a giver as you are growing, your growth actually just seems a little one-sided, because growth is actually complete where the impact of your growth is not just on you, but it goes out from you and flows to the people around you. So when you are beginning to grow, it's important that you now see yourself as somebody as a giver. So I think it's more of a mindset thing. I'm going to give. I'm not just going to become, I'm going to give. So when you have that mindset, I believe that it will be able to make you like a better person as you grow up.
Yeah, that's beautifully explained, Joshua. Yeah, that's so true. You belong to a community, you don't stay in a community. So it is our moral and ethical responsibility to give back whoever we are today. So that's really beautiful. Now, one thing that I would like to ask you, so I have worked in corporates for 15 years of my life, and that too working for US MNCs. So in India, it was complete night shifts. So I have worked in that corporate jobs. So one thing that I was missing during those times were I was not at all active on social media, any of the social media. Maybe it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, or any social media that you can talk about. So I was doing a lot of things, and I was giving myself this layman excuse that I'm too occupied with the corporate world or the professional job. But each and every one of us are having 24 hours in a day. Now
Yeah.
we should know how to manage that time, and in order to follow your passion, follow what you want to do in life, apart from, so we say that, your work is a part of your life, it is not your life. So treat it as it is helping you to live a life. But people nowadays have forgotten that they just get up to go for that work, and they come home because next day they have to go for the work. So I want you to help in that particular situation. Is it important for people to show up with their interest, their aspirations, their desire, even if they love painting? Can they take out 30 minutes of entire one week, even on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and give themselves their true calling sometime so that they can live truly?
Yeah, that's a very beautiful question. And I particularly like that question because this is something that everybody needs to ask themselves every day. Because as you begin to grow in your professional career, a side of your uniqueness begins to like enter into the shadows. So I'll give you a personal example. I like to draw, I like to sing, I like to play the instruments, but there's a certain type of time in my workplace that I have to devote so much of me. I have to read up, I have to go for meetings, I have to attend to so many professional things. And at some point, I see a pen and a paper, and I don't feel that spark anymore. I don't feel that light that used to be in my eyes again because I didn't give it so much attention. So, based on what you asked now, remember when we're talking about micro tasks. Now, in your micro tasks, you can also give yourself a micro session for yourself. So let's say you work for Monday to Friday and you're free for Saturday and Sunday. This might not apply to everybody, but the strategy can apply regardless of your timetable. So let's just assume that you're working a 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. Now, you have to understand that that 24 hours is precious. So I came across a video where they tried to break it into a system of eights, 3 8s. So the first 8 hours of your day, the second 8 hours of your day, and the third 8 hours of your day. So those 3 8s are divided. So the first 8 hours could also talk about like maybe your care, maybe your sleep time, the time you take to personal care, you do things that really help you physically, mentally, and otherwise. Then the remaining 8 would now be tied to maybe your purpose, or it can tie to your passion. Then the remaining 8 afterwards, that'll be like a holistic collective where you try to like bring yourself to like, okay, what have I done today? What have I learned? Because a lot of time that's that thing that people forget. People do in the beginning, but they don't recollect in the evening. They start the day, but they don't come back to say, okay, these are my learning points, these are my highlights. I was able to achieve this and this. So back to the question, what I believe you can do is, what are the things that you like? Just for now, don't pay attention to whether or not you've had enough time to do it. Just ask yourself, what are the things that if you had free time, this is what you really do. Like you said, painting, or maybe you're a poet, you like to write artistic expressions, something like that. What you do is, if you're making out time, remember we're saying we're giving ourselves Monday to Friday, and we're saying that Saturday and Sunday is our time off. when you see that, okay, the weekend is coming, during the day, be giving yourself little treats that stir up or spark that passion. So if you have artistic expressions, you can be working and maybe in your lunch break, you can listen to a poetic piece. You can listen to something, you can watch somebody draw. You're just trying to fan that flame a bit so that when it's time to now give expression to it, you don't have that pushback. Because there's that divide. If you've been on your laptop 247, you're crunching numbers, you're reporting to managers, CEOs, you're in that corporate energy. By the time you come down and you want to be yourself, you don't really know how to connect. So it's a way of trying to embed a portion of you into your professional life such that every day when you're going across your daily work, you give yourself an expression. So in that micro task now, when you're giving that micro expression, let's say, okay, let's establish it. Okay, you want to paint, you want to write, you want to sing. Now, those are three. You tell yourself that, okay, what am I going to write about? What am I going to sing about? I don't know. But you're going to give yourself a safe space, in quotes, because sometimes it takes a while for you to enter back into that state of your wholeness, for you to really connect to that inner you. Sometimes some people, they sing best when they have an emotional spurge, something that they call like a muse. So most times when I used to write, I used to look for a muse. A muse could be a person, a memory, an object, it could even be something. A muse is just something that gives you a reason to tap into that energy or that thing about you that makes you you. So remember we said during the week, you give yourself little expressions to fan that flame. So when it's now time for you to now do it on Saturday, after those micro tasks are there, don't even try to be perfect. Don't try to get it right all at once. Just get your pen, get your paper, look for one simple subject, a bird, lights, music, sound, right sound. Then, okay, I think this is already entering into a poetry session, so I might as well just give a breakdown. So something I do most times when I've lost touch is I look for an object and I try to write like 3 stories about that object in 5 lines. So let's say I have a book here. Here's a book with me. And I'll just say, all right, I want to give myself an artistic expression of this black book. So I'll just write it. This is a black book. Then I'll start thinking a black book, a black book. What about a black book? Okay, a black book is rectangular. Then I'll link it to something. Okay, so a black book reminds me of my past because my memories are things that I hold on to every day. A black book is something that I hold dear to me. I wish it could be white, question mark. Even as I'm saying it now, I didn't plan for this, but I was just like, okay, this is something that can help you stir up those expressions. So you need to have something like a subject area to put your focus in and to help you stir it up. So I believe these tips can help you.
Yes, absolutely, Joshua. Thanks a lot. And I'm sure a lot of viewers will listen to this conversation and they will get a lot of insights. Now, one thing that I have learned about the country Nigeria is so, unlike in other countries, so in most of the countries, people are driven, the success is driven by either career transformation or career enhancement or maybe monetary gain, right? Most of the countries, people are driven by this. Now, Nigeria and Rwanda, these are the two countries where people are mostly driven by spirituality, and that interests me so much, and that's the reason I've been chasing you from last 2 weeks to get on a call and let's get on YouTube to help people understand. So now the country at its entirety, it's already driven by spirituality. Now, what was your reason to come into this field and help people to know what is the true fulfillment, what is their why for doing what they want to do? What was the transition that happened in your personal career?
Oh, okay. So that's an amazing question. And I'll just be very personal here because this is a personal question. So I believe in Jesus, I believe in God. That's my source of inspiration. That's my why. For me, I feel like my personal or my professional career is just an expression of my complete why. So I see this as just a part of me. Another part of me is professional. I like to talk to young adults, adolescents, try to help them build their spiritual life, understand that this is something you cannot do. You can't separate one from the other. Everything is fused together. And Jesus gives me balance. God gives me balance. He makes everything make sense. So one thing I say, I don't feel like I've really come out like a drift. I just feel like it just happened to be that I entered into the corporate space to have a different expression. So remember when we were talking about it in the beginning, there are still expressions I doing my engineering side and everything, but there's the leadership side of me. And I feel like that leadership side of me is tied to the teaching ability that I have even off the professional. So even though I can call myself a leader, I can call myself a teacher, but in the corporate space, maybe I appear as so and so title. But that is still just a cover. That's a cap to who I really am. So who I really am inside of me, I'm a teacher. I like to talk. I like to teach teachers. I like to help you know yourself better so you can help others. I like to make you see a reason why your life will only make sense with Jesus. So this is something that probably I can put as a disclaimer. For me, when I'm having sessions with some of my clients and some people that are coming to ask me questions, eventually I draw you to the plain blank truth that for me, my reality or my why comes from God. I try to get it from other books. You know, there are books, there are self-help books out there that say, okay, find your purpose in 5 questions, blah, 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 blah. You know, I learned from those and they gave me just an insight, but they didn't give me, you know, there's that thing about that I don't know how to, you can relate to it. It's like that void, that hunger inside you is just something that if you don't have something superior to give you an insight to that, you keep searching. So I kept on searching. And for me, maybe I should just give like a brief personal example. So there was a time in my life when I tried to understand what was my purpose. I'm good at so many things. And I think that's the issue of ambiverts, so people that are multi-talented. If you can do so many things, you might not know who you are because you are this in this place, you are this in this place, you are this in this place, you are this in this place. So I try to find myself. So eventually, something happened when I was younger. I happened to go for like a conference. I didn't plan for it, very impromptu. I just told people we went somewhere, went for like an outreach, medical outreach to some people, and we were preaching Jesus to them and everything. And somebody just stopped me and told me to go and talk to a set of children that maybe they were like 30. I was scared. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had no plan. But I looked into those people's eyes and I saw the desperation and the desire just to hear something they probably have not heard before. And you know, that's the thing about that thing we talk about. That's that desire. It just comes up without you
Automatically.
even having to. Exactly, like automatically. And I just found myself talking and talking. And at some point, the whole town was just crowded with the children's noise. And I didn't know when I lost myself. I was just into my zone. Everybody was laughing. When it was time to leave, they didn't even want me to leave. And by the end of the day, I was exhausted, mentally, physically drained. But that fulfillment was boosted. I felt alive. So that now began to give me hints that I think, okay, maybe I have a special assignment in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the teaching now led into focus on leadership and leadership now into career, corporate world, and who knows what next. So for the spirituality aspect, it's sensitive to a lot of people, and not everybody might see it the same way we see it, right? Because we probably might have had a personal encounter, a personal experience that made us know that without a doubt, Jesus is real. Without a doubt, God is real. This is life. You cannot deny it. So for me, what I'll try to say is first have an open mind because this is something that is going to be progressive for some people. It might take a while. You might be hesitant to believe that, okay, you don't really believe the extraterrestrial, the spiritual things, they don't really exist. Nah. It's fine. And it's all right for you to know that that is something you can work on. It's progressive, like I said. So my closing remark, if I might say, is
Mm-hmm.
don't just try to know yourself for yourself. Remember that a lot of people are tied to you, and the fulfillment of your why is going to help others fulfill their own why. So if you are trying to find for yourself, remember that you're not doing it just for yourself. Sometimes even your progression, it might outlive you. It might be things that you start now and generations after will benefit from. So in the quest for spirituality, for me, I'll tell you, I've had personal encounters. I cannot deny it. I'm in love with Jesus. I love Jesus. And I'm looking forward to you understanding your own spiritual journey. And if you want us to go on it, you're welcome to come join us.
Yes, thank you so much, Joshua. That's really insightful. And one thing that I would like the viewers to know, when you know your why, you stand to gain your sense of fulfillment, your sense of purpose and direction, and you get greater confidence and progress in your career. So, Joshua, if someone wants to connect with you, what is the way to get connected apart from LinkedIn, from where I caught
Oh,
you?
oh, all right, that's amazing. So, I don't know if I can give you my mail. My mail is sulolaj@gmail.com. That's my surname, L for lemon, O for orange, L for lemon, and A for apple. J for jam at gmail.com. That's my email. You can shoot me an email anytime. And okay, I also have a YouTube channel. You can check out my YouTube channel, and also you can reach me out on Instagram, Joshua Sulola. Yeah.
Sure, I will tag all your profiles, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube in the description below. So if anyone wants to get connected to Joshua any point in time, feel free to connect with him and clear your why you are there for what you are doing. And thank you so much, Joshua, for joining me today and having such an
Thank you very much.
interesting insights for people to learn a lot about this. So stay tuned for more episodes of Expert Ed series. Until next time. Keep growing, keep challenging yourself, and keep breaking boundaries. Thanks a lot, Joshua. Nice having you here.